Um, I used to have opening and closing scenes, but this time around, I think I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. Uh, Last time I streamed regularly, I was studying 3D. It was fun, but it also helped me realize that it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I'm glad I explored it though. I might use it in the future, but for now, I think I'm just more focused on learning traditional drawing and anatomy and anime, things like that. So, yeah. I think what I'm gonna be doing is um well, it's gotta be worth good content, right? So I said anatomy and or anime, not sure the pronunciation. Oh, oh no. Okay, wait. Uh, hmm. Let's see. Shortcuts. Uh, I need a apply. Oh, it opens. What? Oh my god. Alright, alright. We are having a bit of trouble here. Uh, Really, I can't. Um, I guess I gotta keep this window open. So basically, I use space to be able to like move the canvas around with my stylus. But if I press space, it opens the definite the settings window in OBS. And it yeah, because there's nothing here for that. Man, this is weird. Oh, whatever. So it opens settings and we leave it as such. Good. Good. Oh. Oh no. Alright. Well, I need the audio mixer here. Right. If I do this, it does minimize it. And I'm also gonna need that open. Wait. Oh lord. Alright. Okay, this works. We're going to go to Pinterest just to get some references. So what do I want to draw? It shouldn't be too complicated to the side, right? Something interesting. You know what? For relevancy's sake, let's go Genshin Impact. That's really not what I'm looking for. It's, I think the new region is Sumeru. Very interesting. There we go. Characters. Playable characters. Tighnari, Tighnari, and Candace Sino or Sino Milu. Alright. Alright. Let's see, Collie. She has an interesting design, I guess. Dory. It says it's a short female type of body, so I'm gonna use V, I guess. I don't like Dory's design that much, I'm gonna be honest. But I do enjoy Tighnari or Tighnari. I wish there was a pronunciation guide, but let me do just a pro gamer move here. Just gonna stop the music for a little bit.
Dear Master, I trust this letter finds you well. Thank you for your kind offer of an academia post, but I'm afraid I must decline.
Whatever.
Though if you are amenable, please consider sending some researchers to help investigate this strange phenomena in the forest.
Uh-huh.
Sincerely, your student, Tighnari.
Tighnari. Okay, let's go. Tighnari. So, I do not care for Dory. Coley or Tighnari. They both have very interesting designs. Music. There we go. They both have very interesting designs, so I think I'm gonna go for Collie first, maybe? Let me see. Eh. Let's go for Tighnari. Tighnari. Alright. Search for references. Tighnari. There's already plenty of fan art. Let's see, or let's see. This is this the official image? Good, good. You can't yet see what I'm doing, but Tighnari, character sheet. I don't know if this exists just yet. I mean, overall, I think we're gonna draw him from the front either way, so so he uses a bow, right? That's what I took from this, I think. Jesus Christ, I immediately forgot. But it seems that he uses a bow. Yes. I'm gonna say this one. Good. I'm gonna be focusing just on shapes. So I don't think I'm gonna be making anything too fancy. Trying to see if there's any image that has any extra details that I might need, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Right? Yeah, those two are enough. Tighnari. Now we need a pose. Let's look at this. It's archery, so Mhm. I like this one. I am seeing such anatomical atrocities that the artists really can get away with anything. They really can. It's ridiculous. Oh, this is an interesting one, but it has more of the backside. Maybe a more relaxed pose. Would be interesting. Where was it? It was here. Yeah, I enjoy this one. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna save a few and see if I can do like a mix. These relaxed ones are really good. So. Sorry for you not seeing my reference collection, but hopefully it'll be over soon. This pose feels interesting. Take this one. Maybe even take this one. All right. Yeah, now it's just mostly swords. Let's see here. these swords again. Alright. Those aren't a lot of references, but it should be enough for a basic job, I guess. So let's close that. I don't need anything else from there. Now we need what we need. Oh, sorry. Post CSP. We need pure ref. We're gonna put these and this. Good, good. And so these are pose ideas. This is the character. Let's just increase this a little bit. Good, good. Now we do something like this. Good. So first, let's study these poses a little bit. Finally, some action worth watching. I just gotta bring up everything. Let me just put it there. Wait, where's the audio mixer? Oh, there it is. All right. That's... yeah, I think that's everything. All right. I have 3 screens and I still can't work properly with them. Ridiculous. Maybe it's best if I do like this. The audio goes here, I guess. Yeah, I think this is much better. Yeah, all right. Let's warm a bit. The character is doing something like this, right? Here, grabbing it like that. The hands, just that. Yeah. Right. Right. So the feet are something like this. So the bench It's more or less around this height. Something like this. You don't need to be too exact here. I'm just seeing how it feels, pretty much. Oh. It's a bit tall, but again, pretty much. Something like this, whatever. I'm not gonna do too much about it. This character is more or less like right. Something like this. Right, the hand. Gotta focus a little bit here. Yeah, something like this. Doesn't matter too much. Let's just clean up the outside. The inside can stay. Consequence of my mistakes. Right. This. The arm might be a little bit too big, but I'm just getting a feeling for the pose. Yeah. Yeah, just getting a feeling for it. So like this, doesn't matter too much. Arm should be around here. Okay, so something along those lines. So the wrist can be here, and the rest of the hand. So bow here, line or string here. Just making I'm doing there. Whatever. Bow, string, something like this. Alright, center line there or something. The neck might be a bit too weird. Better think about it. What could I do about this? Duplicate layer. Oops, let's see. I can maybe. Maybe pick this up. Let's try this one. Bit too fast, but something along these lines. A relaxed but alert pose, maybe. Yeah, it'll be easier for me if I just pick up the leg. Center line between the feet, and this one is carrying the weight, so just needs to be a little bit more stretched, I think. But other than that, it should be fine. Yeah, I think that's the pose. I think that's the pose. Right, I'm gonna make a new one. The focus is not the bow anyway, but let's just do this. Let's copy that. Let's paste it here, enlarge it. The character is the main focus. So now let's see. Should be about 7 hits. So we might need to adjust. Okay. 7 hits. So here to, well, this is more or less the, we do like this. So there's this. Center of gravity is like more or less around here. Right. The eraser is big. So we're gonna make the legs slightly bigger than the other half. And it's 7.5, or not 7.5, 7. So it's 3.5 heads. So this would be, let's see here. This would be a quarter. This would be around an eighth. So we're gonna just add a little bit. So that we have that, then we add a little bit more. That's gonna make 6 heads. So let's go. We were here for 8, right? This, so we're gonna go with this. We're gonna split the difference. Right? Yeah. All right. So slender. And probably thin chin, thin neck as well. Right. Something along those lines. Okay. If he is slender, maybe we want to put the vanishing point along this horizon line. Yeah, maybe that's best. And because of that, everything will fall like that. Right? Also, that's still. Oh, actually. Huh. Now that I think about it. Right. A head. How much is that? Here. A little bit more than that. I'm gonna make the pelvis a little bit more. So I'm gonna make it rotate like that. So it'd be something like this. Or no, it would be something like this. God damn it. Alright, something like that. So no, I don't remember if it's like this or if it's like this. This feels right though. Like that. Okay. I'm missing the arm. I am missing the arm, so like a handle or something there that helps me. Ooh. Bone. The bow has all this sort of intricacies because of its design. Whatever. Bow. It's actually not that big of a bow. Huh. That's interesting. Alright. We'll leave it like that. Just gonna. Ooh, I'm actually gonna have to adjust the height because he has very large ears that I didn't take into consideration. Yeah, his ears, sorry, are bigger than his head, actually. So, this. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna go back to reds. Good. Gonna. shouldn't be zooming in, but this point's a bit crucial. Like something like this, and then the fingers go around it. Yeah. I'm so sorry. So this is pretty much taking the weight. It should be something like this, and then going down. Because they're doing this. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely, it feels very posed because it's not a, in balance. Since the shoulders go like this, the hips should go like this, but they're actually going like this. Interesting. Just put some lines to figure out where everything is. So nipple line, more or less. This clavicles. Very good. Center line for the hips. Line for the iliac crests. No, that doesn't make any sense. It should be here, right? Yeah. this line. Okay, it's a good pose. I hope you can't hear my keyboard too much. Let's see. Oh, you can. You can definitely hear it. Less than the music, but you can hear it. Oh Lord. I don't know if I can completely fix that. Oh, control shifts. No. Okay. Gotta do the line again, I guess. Okay, I was playing with Z. I think this is okay. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So we got ourselves our base. Not too much movement. It's like, I think it holds. What did I just? Oh, I didn't know. Right. All of this for legs. All of this for the head. Let's separate it to you. I'd say it's more or less half and half, right? Yeah. It's a good division. It feels balanced. Oh, there's a dot there. Right, we can go back to blue. Now, main features first. They really go all out with the design. I might have to get more reference photos. Okay, for now let's focus more on the face. See what we can do with that. So oh Lord, here comes the bad anime syndrome. You gotta make bad shit in order to make good shit. We'll fix that afterwards. So there's a line here where all the hair comes from. terms of shapes, shape. Right, I give it ears, but it has different ears. Right. Right. Not very smart of me. Not gonna focus too much now on details. I just want to have everything blocked first. Something like this. I think it works, right? Now, in terms of what he's wearing, the asymmetrical designs always kill me. Waist. Something on the waist. Good. Yeah. Cloth there. Doesn't matter too much. Right. Okay. Not gonna even try. Yeah, something like this. Good. Mm. 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 I like the fact that he's looking down. Feels stupid. guess. Just needs a lot of refinement. So we do this here. All right. So we went from this to this to this to this. Not bad. I've been live for how long? I've been live for an hour. All right. Oh, sorry about that. I'm just gonna make a new scene so that I can indicate that I'm on a small break. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm back. Just for a quick little bite and a stretch. Yeah, it was just like 3-4 minutes. I think I'm ready to tackle this again. All right. So. Gonna need a third color. Okay, I think this is good. I think we can start. Actually drew Raiden Shogun in the past, but I didn't finish because I didn't pay enough attention to the details on her design, and as I went along I started paying heavily for not doing so. So I'm trying to like really pay attention to the design of this one, because anything that I miss now is gonna cost me a lot later on. Good. Oh, they do this thing, huh? Alright. Just need to be perfect right now. Just need to be a clear indication of what I need. Again, I feel stupid for having drawn human ears when he clearly doesn't have those. It's easier if I just... Good. Trembled a little bit, but still works. Oop. Moving my hand too slowly, so it's doing this to the lines. All right. Good. The ears might be a bit too big because their proportions are in relation to the entire hair, not just the head. Maybe something like this would be more adequate. Yeah. Something like this. How is it looking? I think it's looking pretty good. Right? Doesn't even have line weight yet. And already feels very solid. So I think that's good. Right. Now, have a look at this. I'm gonna do it like this and this. It's a bit bigger. So let's increase the size of that. All right. Oh Lord, this is gonna take so long. All right. I'm always zooming out to see if it looks good or not. So far, I think it's looking pretty good. I don't understand much about folds in clothes, so it's gonna be pretty obvious. In this entire thing. Right. Now we have I think I'm gonna go. Oh, what happened? Alright, I think I'm gonna go with the bracelets first. People weird vanilla. Hello. You were here the last time I streamed. Oh, I remember you. How's it going? Well, it's been going pretty well here. Um, I was planning on streaming more regularly, but I had to finish my um, application for a master's degree. So now that that's done, I can focus on just doing my own thing, and streaming helps me work because anyone could be watching. 3-hour anatomy study. Oof. I mean, that is great work, but still, 3 hours in a row, it's tough. Very, very tough. But it is necessary. It is necessary, and it pays off. It's just a bit slow. Everyone that I know says that anatomy is something that we have to study our entire lives. And honestly, the longer it goes, the more I think that's true. There's a multitude of complexities in anatomy that make it so complicated, you know? Like, we can know enough to make a good piece, a good work, but there's always more to learn. I think the old masters knew that. Those ridiculous statues where when the pinky is lifted, you could see the flexation of certain muscles that are responsible for pulling the pinky, you know? That isn't random. They knew what they were doing because they studied a lot. I mean, they were also forced to work a lot, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Do you know who this character is? I hope it's recognizable. So, just gonna center. Oh, okay. This character is Tighnari from Genshin Impact. I don't personally play the game, but their designs are really, really good to study. So, yeah. I mean, actually, because you just came here now, yeah, I tried Genshin a little bit, but it's not my type of game. I'm gonna show you what I did so far. So I started with this. I sketched some. Actually, I have it here. I sketched some poses with bows. Like, I went to Pinterest and just sketched it a little bit, right? And then I joined basically the top of this one here, but flipped, right? And used the legs. And so we have this pose. Then I just adjusted for the proportions of the character because Genshin has very stylized proportions, very anime, and that interests me. Then it was just a cleanup thing, adding the major blocks of the character design, and now I'm just making the detail. Later on, I'm gonna add line art and line weight, and the coloring is gonna be something really simple because it's not something that I'm focused on. But yeah. Now I'm curious. You said you were studying anatomy. Like, were you studying all of anatomy? In general, or specific parts? Thanks for sharing the process. No problem, no problem. But were you studying something specific or just anatomy in general? I just started anatomy recently, upper torso at the moment. Yeah, that's... The torso for me, I think, is... Oh my god, I'm feeling... The torso is very complicated, but it's sort of like the most important part for everything. Working with a few books. Yeah, books are very important, especially the type of book that you're using. I was actually lucky when I did my bachelor's. My teacher, I had body uh, drawings, so a lot of model stuff, and I was lucky that my teacher got the students a digital copy of a book, and that book is actually really, really good at separating the shapes. Right. Still live lesson or session tomorrow night. Nice, nice. You really should take advantage of still life because it's where you improve the fastest. I can search it here. Let me see. The book is by Michael Hampton, which is figure drawing. Oh my. Yeah, Michael Hampton. Yeah. Figure drawing, design and invention. Yeah. It was a book that he gave me. This book is really, really good. The problem is that a lot of times I feel like I'm reading the book, right? And it's hard because in art content, you can't just read it. We need to pause, think about it, until it makes proper sense. And that can become very complicated. For instance, only recently I figured this out, right? So imagine we break the torso. I'm gonna just be very rough here, it doesn't matter. We break the torso into the two parts, right? And it's like there's perspective on the body, right? So if this is the horizon line, for instance, there's going to be a vanishing point somewhere around there. And that means that if you do the hole for the neck, somewhere around here, and the clavicles are neutral, the clavicles will point like this, right? The iliac crests will point like that because they're all pointing towards the vanishing point, right? And that gives it a better sense of three-dimensionality because it also affects the ellipses that you're drawing, right? So if you're drawing here, the ellipse won't be much, but if you're drawing here, the ellipse will start to stretch. And the same thing applies to the legs. For instance, if my horizon line is over here, right? And we have the thigh doing this. This ellipse and this ellipse is not the same thing, right? There's a transition, and only very recently I started realizing that. I actually did that here. So as you can see, I did this because the volume changes and the way we perceive the volume also changes according to perspective. So It's like I've been studying this on and off for 2 years now because there's a lot of different things that I've been doing. Prior to this, I actually streamed 3D for a bit, and when you're doing 3D, perspective is not that important. It's all done for you. I think let's do this again. And yeah, it took me a long time to figure that out. But I think if we think about the things that we read, it's like 90% practice, or 90% of the time we're practicing, but then there are those 10% moments where we think about what we've read and the differences between what we do, and we have these eureka moments, right, where we figure something out and everything changes drastically, and that is very, very exciting. Okay. Well, the hands don't change much, but I still need to like figure out how I'm gonna draw the bow. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna start still life, those types of moments are gonna happen a lot. For instance, a thing that happened with me in I'm gonna make a new layer. A thing that happened with me in model class and still life and things like that was, it's not a layer. What is it? Yes, this. All right. Was something of this sort. Let's see. Imagine we have the shadow on a ball, right? Let me just drop this here. And we have the glow. Well, not necessarily the glow, but like the part with the most light, right? The thing is, objects aren't floating. So what happens is, and this is what I had to like figure out because I didn't even notice before, right? Is if we have a light here, right, and it's illuminating this, it's also illuminating the floor. Yeah, reflected light, right? And so here it's going to be completely different. Just a sec. Someone's at the door. It'll be a minute. It'll be a minute. Second is something that I really can't postpone, but it's only going to take a few minutes, like 2 or 3. Don't worry about it. Oh, sorry. Oh no. I'll deal with that later. back. Bit of a disaster happened, but everything's fine. Basically, a cup with brushes fell, and so a bunch of brushes are behind piece of furniture. Let me just check if I close the door. Alright. We're good to go. Alright, we're good. Yeah, I was talking about reflected light, and that is nuts. But there are other things that I actually didn't realize on my own. That's why tutorials are really cool. For instance, we have the Terminator, which sounds really cool, right? People usually do it in a warmer color, but depending on the light, you can. The Terminator is like where the shadow and the light separate. It's like I can't do it properly, but it's like a sort of mid-tone, right? And it's like when the edges of the shadow are softened with this Terminator tone, and it makes everything feel much warmer. Usually, some artists like to paint cold Terminators, and it's really, really nice. But yeah, I need... I think it's this. Or is it this? Actually, I can... Yeah. Alright. Tool property. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. Alright. Analyzing here design. Oh boy. Is it 4? I think it's 4. I think it's 4. Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff to learn about art in general. This do here. 1, 2, 3. There. Do like this, maybe. Yeah. Like this is good. Yeah. So I'm thinking of streaming more frequently and around this time as well. So in other days, if you want to show up, I'm probably on. I can't make any promises though, because if I do enter my masters, I might not be able to do this. But for now, at least, if I don't enter, I got it started. I never got to ask. Exactly, that is exactly what I was going to ask. I'm from Portugal, so not a very common country. Australia. What time is it in Australia? Because I think it's the complete opposite from here, right? So here it's or is it, I don't know if China has the same time zones. 8 p.m. So right now it is 11:15 a.m. I started around 9 a.m. So for you, I started around 6 p.m. That's actually cool that if I stream early, I can catch Australian people, I can catch maybe Chinese people, Indonesian people, maybe. Yeah, that's sick actually. Yeah. I'm actually really um really interested in Australia as a continent because, well, the origins are fascinating, right? Um, on both sides. So on the British Empire side of the whole prison thing, but also on the Polynesian thing. It's also very interesting. Uh, every once in a while, I catch myself um, watching. I don't know if you call it football. There was a team that an Australian team of that sport that became very famous because of their. I think it's Waka. I think that's Australian, right? Footy. Okay. So yeah, every once in a while I catch it on sports channels. I think it's um, a bit too aggressive for me, but still an interesting sport. The Polynesian history. Oh, the Polynesian is New Zealand. I thought it was Australian. Oh, damn. All right. I got fact checked. Good. Good. Australia. Oh, okay. Aboriginals. Yeah. Actually, I was watching in the other day. Uh, I don't remember the year, but I remember that it was the singular form is Aboriginal. I don't know, but it was a woman from an Aboriginal tribe. I think that's how you say it, right? That went to the Olympic Games and actually won gold. Right? And I think it was the first Olympic Games where native. Yeah, I was watching that on the TV, right? And I thought that was fascinating. The first games where native people were allowed to enter as native people. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm gonna add a new line here. Yeah. Track. It's actually pretty interesting. It's like Australia is so different in all aspects, really. Like for one, culture, right? But also like the I'm missing the word here. It's like the wildlife, right? It feels like it's one of the most inhospitable places. Of course, I'm generalizing a huge area, But whenever I think of Australia, I think of like I think it's funnel spiders. I think that's what they call, right? The spider season in yeah, I bet it's exaggerated, but oh damn, really? Oof. I mean, it is cool, but oof, man, I do not deal well with um, spiders and snakes. Like behind the glass, that's fine, but not on my hand, not free around me, please. Yeah, I mean, I believe they're mostly defensive. That's a good strategy. Hmm. I see. Yeah, like being aggressive is something that spends a lot of energy. So I guess they'd only be aggressive if there's something that they want, like mating or fighting for territory or food. Not like I see this huge monkey or hairless monkey, I'm gonna fucking attack it. You know? Exactly, exactly. They're not gonna spend energy all willy-nilly. Yeah. When I rationalize it like that, they don't become as dangerous. But at the same time, we know that we are not trying to pose a threat to them, but a lot of times they see us as a threat just from the sudden movements that we might make. Exactly, slap the ground as a warning. Yeah. So knowing that is good, knowing that they'll slap the ground. But people that don't know that might push too far, and then the consequences show up. But the spider warned you, you know? It's cool that they have those sorts of patterns. And it's interesting. It's not just about um, defensive mechanisms. I know that dogs do this thing with at least other dogs. I don't know if they do that with us, but they do this thing where they declare that they're gonna play, right? It's a motion that they do, telling the other dog that they want to play, almost like bowing, right, to the other dog, and it's really interesting because once you're aware of those patterns, you can sort of see the animal communicating with you, and it's really cool. Let's see, that's a complicated thing to draw. Hmm. I just remembered a stupid video that I saw that was about um, studying the pattern of webs made by spiders under the influence of different drugs. And the video is really, really stupid because at first it sounds like it's being serious, and then it just gets in a completely deranged analogy for pimps in prostitution and drugs. But It's really, really funny. Uh, like, I think it was the spider that took caffeine just did a web non-stop, and you could really see that the web itself was really deranged and things like that. And the spider that took LSD just made a hammock with the web and just sat on the hammock and did nothing else. Uh, so stupid, so stupid. Yeah. Then there was the drug ring leader, which figured that making webs was for suckers. I think that was how they said it. Making webs was for suckers, and shot another spider in the head or something. It was ridiculous, ridiculous. Okay, so we're gonna need my natural enemy, braids. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way of drawing these. With reference, I'll get there. Which is almost halfway, so I'm gonna do something like this. Yeah, good. And then like that. Maybe this. Yeah, so the braids are there. What else? I can do something like this, I guess. More angular. Weight tangents. Yeah, that. Okay. Oof. Let's see. The hands are pretty much the same because it's tight fit gloves, so they shouldn't change too much. Oh, they shouldn't change too much their silhouette. By the way, you're not seeing, but I'm using pure ref, so you know the poses and the reference that I'm using. Yeah. Honestly, working without references, you're either a master or you're handicapping yourself for no reason. At least that's the way I feel. One day I'll illustrate a complete piece like this. Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely. I mean, I don't know the level of your skill, but regardless, right? If you want to improve, if you want to improve fast, you should start doing complete pieces right away, because you're gonna fail more sooner and you'll identify the mistakes faster. Much from imagination. It really depends, honestly. Like, I did that thing with the pose manipulation, right? Uh, when I do things from I do things from imagination sometimes, but when I do, it's more of a visual library, so I pick up things that I already did prior and I change them a little bit, you know? So it's more of like um, I've worked with a lot of previous references, and so when I want to imagine something new, it's more of a mishmash, and then change it a little bit to work together, and that's how I do it, you know. But lately, I've been doing more simple stuff because I want to focus on the anatomy. This is like the most complex that I've gone in a while, so. Because in my portfolio for my masters, I actually included a lot of cartoon style things, and I literally searched for Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls, right? And immediately I started like switching the proportions of the characters and testing different ideas. And that's a whole other thing, right? The artistic process is very iterative, and we don't see a lot of the work that is put into a single piece at the very beginning, like the testing of the poses, the testing of hairstyles, eyes, uh, even proportions, right? We don't see that. We see the final piece, and that only lets us go back so much. We can't go all the way back unless the artist really shows the entire process. Concept stuff soon. Yeah, yeah. Concept stuff is really good for you to figure out what works and what doesn't. And the more you do it, the faster you get at it, right? Because the things that you failed in the first not iteration, but like the first exercise of iterations, you start to make mental notes of, okay, this doesn't seem to work. There might be another solution, but I'm not going to do this again. Yeah. And so it's almost like a neural network of some sort that you've already failed at that, so you know that at least in that direction you shouldn't go. You should go in another direction. So you start narrowing down into the things that work, and that's really, really cool. And another thing that's really cool is that the things that work vary from artist to artist, really. So you never have a singularity in that sense. Every project that I've done, I do a thumbnail beforehand to get a handle on the subject. Exactly. That is really good. That is really, really good. I'm drawing the legs, but I should really draw the bow. God damn it. But yeah, doing the thumbnail is good, not only to in a first assessment quickly understand the shapes of who you're trying to draw, but also for composition, right? Because even if it's not a portrait, if it's a landscape drawing, for instance, figuring out exactly what you want to draw, how you want to draw it, it's really good. In that sense, thumbnailing is exactly failing faster, because you're already testing what you're going to do, but you're doing it in a faster, more looser way, so that you're not stuck with the problems on the actual work. Yeah. In this case, because the design already exists, I didn't have to do a lot of thumbnailing, right? I did thumbnail where I could, like the not necessarily thumbnails, but I did iterations where I could, like the poses, and I figured that a mixture would be better, things like that. I haven't gone to do any extensive thumbnailing storyboarding yet. Will be interesting to try. Yeah, yeah. Storyboarding is good because you need to make sure that your drawing communicates well visually. It's not just about details and things like that. It's whether or not the whole thing communicates the idea. If I'm planning to do a background, good question. Honestly, I tend to leave it as a simple thing. I don't invest much on backgrounds. Maybe I could do something, but I don't really tend to that much. And honestly, if I do make a background, it's not going to be super complex because I want the focus to be the character. So a lot of it might end up being blurred. Good. Come on. Not bad. Here. And like as artists, we are constantly stealing from our previous works. In this case, it's fan art that I'm doing, right? But I can guarantee you that I'm keeping flowers in my head. The medallion or medal, whatever. I'm keeping these things, right? This idea, I don't usually consider like earrings like these, but I keep all of this in my head for next original works, right? Yeah, that's pretty much how we have to work. We basically steal everything that is visible. But like stealing in a good way, obviously. I would like better references for the feet. This angle is a bit limited. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. I've seen artists that really do come up with original ideas, like truly original, and it's a whole other language, right? Like a whole other visual language, and it sometimes those artists have trouble making it in the world because they're so new, right? So fresh. People still have to like get on with that type of language. It's kind of hard to explain, but every generation you have a bunch of those to like do their own thing despite being heavily influenced by others. It doesn't transmit that much in their work. But then you have people that are pretty much mutations of others. And so the style is recognizable, but it still feels like a unique work. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I'm watching here. All right. What's this? There should be something like this. Yeah. There's a small thing in the back that I don't know what it is. Huh. Well, just gonna do it like that. Sure, it'll be fine. Something like that. That isn't even the full extent of the detail. Oh lord. Oh lord. Alright. The most frustrating thing about all of this is that the brain is also a muscle, right? If you practice, it'll get stronger. If you don't practice, it'll get weaker. Exactly. Exactly. Exploit everything for learning. Don't worry too much about a style, if I'm being completely honest. Unless you have a specific goal that requires you to learn a certain style, if your goal is to learn art, style won't be necessary. The choices that you make along your career will converge into a style. A style is something that happens without effort for style. You know? Unless you want to work in the anime industry, then you have to study the anime style. But like if you're an artist that lives off commissions and things like that, you know, you don't really need You don't really need to study a style. Keep on working, keep on making decisions, you know, and eventually it'll consolidate into your own style without you even realizing. Like, you might think, oh, everything looks so different, and people that like your work will be like, oh yeah, I recognize that, that's your work. And you know, you won't really realize what just happened. Like, oh yeah, that's a people weird vanilla. Oh, yes. Right? They'll recognize your work. Let's go big here. Add some variety to it. Yeah. You mentioned that you have directions that you want to explore. Do you have anything specific in mind? Are you interested in portraits? I mean, you have been studying them from what you've said. Is it like maybe coal, not coal, charcoal drawing or digital drawing, painting, like traditional painting, something like that? Charcoal pencils. Yeah, yeah, those. I can't really explain it. Like, I like them. They feel really nice, but they're also a bit temperamental in a sense. But overall, I don't know if it's because I have more practice with traditional media, but I like the feel of the materials in the paper. I have an uncle paints too. When you have a decent skill set, like you can't spend time with him frequently, you know? Like, does he need to work alone, or could you just like do your own stuff? Oh damn, that's pretty good, pretty good. Like, you can't you work close to him? Yeah. The thing is, like, having someone like that so close to you is really good for like exposure. I see. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I think you do well. The thing that I've noticed is that professional artists that are not educated to teach do not teach that well. I just think that's how it is. They speak a different language, and people that are starting do not get it yet, right? So I think you do well, like learning the fundamentals first, because after you have solid fundamentals, even if your uncle is saying words, you're looking at what he's doing and you're understanding exactly why he's doing it, because you've been there, right? Like I've read a book. I have the book. It's Bridgman. Yeah, there's always a lot to improve. Yeah. I have a book on Bridgman about anatomy. And you can see that Bridgman understood anatomy very, very well. Right? But he speaks in a different language. It's English, but it's not English. It's almost like a dialect. Right? You open the book, you start to read it, and it's not making any sense. But he's basically describing the motion of the body so that you can understand where things are inserted. Why do they have the shape that they have? Why does the volume change? Right? And once you understand that the body is just a bunch of, I don't know if it's levers or levers that it's said, but it's a bunch of levers or levers, whatever, right? That push and pull. And some of them help rotate. Some places never change shape, and some do. Yeah, extend and contract. Right? And then you have like dedicated muscles to rotate parts. Once you start to understand that, you start to understand where they need to be. For instance, the deltoid at the edge of the shoulder, right? It needs to wrap around the clavicle, right? Like and you have the scapula back here. The deltoid needs to go around, right? And then you have the ulna, because this is the, I don't know if it's called a waist, but it's like this whole oval here. You have the clavicle, right? And the clavicle is only united here. Like the entire arm and the scapula, it's only here at the top of the sternum. And so you need that muscle to unite them. And that is pretty much what lifts the entire arm. Yeah, the collarbone. I call it clavicle, but collarbone, yeah. Right? It lifts everything with the help of, obviously, of the trapezius back here. Right? And you start to understand those things make sense, right? When we start thinking about the motions that we do, we understand. Like, we have the arm, right? I'm gonna do it like this. And if we want to flex it, Well, we need to pull this part towards that part, which means that something needs to go from here all the way to here. And that something is the bicep. The bicep inserts in the middle of the ulna, and it inserts here. And so it pulls everything. Right? And like there are so many examples of this. It's ridiculous, right? And Bridgman, it's all about this. It's just that in the beginning it's so complicated to understand what he's talking about. There's a YouTuber called Modern Day James, and he has a series about understanding Bridgman. I think it's called Deciphering Bridgman. And I watched it, and it felt like a rabbit hole. Because you go to the first episode, and he says to watch another episode that he did previously. Right? And he's always doing that. So once you notice, you're already like 4 or 5 episodes deep before even starting, just to decipher Bridgman. Yeah. And this ties to what I said previously. Like with art books, we need to take our time, because we really, really need to think about what they're actually saying. Because like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty obvious, and sometimes they're talking about things that we haven't realized yet. I think Bridgman after Michael Hampton is not that bad. I think after Michael Hampton, you have a pretty decent understanding of proportions and volumes, right? And Bridgman teaches a shorthand way to go about anatomy. Like he divides the torso into like shoulder, something like this, right? This whole volume thing of the torso. So it includes the rib cage, it already includes deltoids and things like that. So you don't need to go through all the trouble of drawing everything. The thing is, because you have less volumes, each volume needs to be more complex. So, yeah. What am I missing? I didn't draw the whole detail of the boots, but honestly, I don't know if I want to torture myself with that. I'm just gonna do this for now. Oh. Yeah. There are pretty good exercises in the Hammond's book. For instance, the hand one. The hand one was like what really made me understand hands a lot better. Like I'm not 100% sold on the hand drawings. I still dread them a little bit. Just like box, right? Round it a little bit so that you have the. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit more like this. So you have the index, you have the middle, the ring, and the pinky. But now you also need to bring it a little bit up. So I'm just gonna go back. You bring it up and you have index, middle, ring, pinky. Right? And then he describes it as being slightly slanted here. Right? And then he has that method of ball, bow. The palm has more surface area than the back of the hand. Exactly. That's why it needs to be slanted. Here. This one is already smaller. Bit big. Whatever. But there was something very impressive about this. That's completely fine. Drawing them gesturally is completely fine because you're already developing a natural sense for how the hands work. So gesture has no problems whatsoever. It's just another type of study, right? It's a quicker one. It's intuitive study. So I have this here, and the thumb will be somewhere around there. And the consequence of actually studying hands, like he said, was that I actually understood fingers better, right? So the perspective will be like this, and now I'm constantly thinking of things in perspective, right? And then the fingers tend to do this, and then they slant. And so I have this diagram in my head, but I no longer draw it. And once I realized that, it was fantastic. Fantastic. I think it's this, right? Yeah, yeah. Very good perspective exercise because, like, the top is very flat. The top of the finger is very flat, and the bottom is very curved, right? And there are really cool things about the fingers, like you have this area between, I don't know, phalanx, whatever. You have this area, and if the finger folds, the area sort of disappears, right? And you have skin covered with skin. It's really cool. Really cool stuff. Sometimes I look like a crazy person on the street because whenever I don't have anything to do, I just start looking at my own body. And I start to realize these small things. And like each small thing adds up to a huge difference in anatomy, understanding, you know? Like, I'm at the gym and I'm doing some sort of exercise in front of a mirror. I'm more focused in looking at myself in the mirror and seeing how the muscles move than actually doing the exercise. Like running and seeing how the legs contract and extend when you're running, right? And also the perspective of the legs, which also helps me to understand movement because I'm investing a lot in anatomy, so that later on when I start animation, it is solid and more believable. What am I missing? I'm going to ignore the details in the shoes deliberately. I'm going to leave it like this. All right. So now I'm missing detail here. Okay. So. Oh. Do you mind if I link you the upper torso to study I did 2 weeks ago? Today. Yeah, no problem. I think links are allowed. I think nothing is stopping links. Because I remember a few months ago someone tried to send a link. So I opened the link. All right. Gonna need a bit of context. Because you say the improvement from 2 weeks ago to now. Is this one... The second link is the one you did today. All right. Yes. Yeah. See, there's readability in simplicity, right? So it's still a complex study, but the one you did today, you can see that you understand more about it, right? You're focusing on the volumes. You're not focusing on textures or anything like that. It's more about the shape of the volume, how it changes. And I like these lines. Let me see. These lines that indicate how the volume flows. Those lines are very important, right? Because if you don't use them, the shape looks flat, right? There's this thing, I don't know if you've seen this, about the importance of those shapes. The yes, cross section lines. So if we have, well, not the best one. Let me just do it in a different layer. We'll work with that, right? The same two circles can be completely different, right? I can do something like this. Right? And now it's suggesting that we're looking at it from above. But if I do something like this, it's suggesting that we're looking at it from below. Actually, I think the perspective here is wrong. I think it's like this, right? So cross control lines are really, really good at transmitting the idea of volume. And I think you did that very well in the study from today. That, and of course, shading, not like shading for rendering, but shading to show the volumes, the different volumes. That's really good. Really, really good. Like how you did so we have the rib cage, and we have the pelvis, and I like how let me just I like how you did these volumes right here, right? Yeah, yeah. You only need a little bit. You don't need much. You don't need much. But I like how you discriminated these volumes right here. Because that's really good. They change a lot because the rib cage and the pelvis move a lot independently because the spine is really flexible. And so one stretches, they can both stretch, they can both squash. One can stretch, one can squash. It's so yeah. From 2 weeks ago to today, massive, massive improvement. Oof, I actually watched an entire 3 hours lo-fi beats. All right. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna just to comply with it. I think I'm gonna stream for like extra 45 minutes, half an hour. But I'm gonna add text. He requires I call AC and right at studio. Now we gotta like diminish the size. Oh no. Is it controlled? It's controlled. Alright. I might have to change. I mean, sorry about this. It's just said that I can change the color of the letters. Huh. I mean, I can leave it up here. Yeah, I can leave it up here because of the gray. Yeah. Alright. A transparent background color. That works. Transparent background color. A transparent background color. I am too dumb to understand that. I know that I've done it before, but you know, I think it works for now. Yeah, it works for now. I will learn that later. Because the music itself is copyright free, but he does ask for credit. He or she. I mean, it's Carl, so I think it's a he. But, you know, artists must respect artists. I understand his position, and so... Okay. If we do this, we're lacking the detail... Oh, I was still doing the waist. Alright. So, oh no. There's another one. Alright. These lines are absolutely horrendous. Yeah. And a big one and a small one. I mean, most of it won't be even seen, but whatever. We do something like this, something like that. This. Yeah. Alright. Now what am I missing? These things are braid pattern, and so is this. We need the hands, and for that we need the bow. Ooh, actually, there's another detail here. And I'm still keeping this very loose because this isn't the final line art layer. There will be another layer after every detail is drawn, where I make line art and I increase the weight on the outer part to accentuate the silhouette. And I also increase the thickness wherever there's what's it called? Whenever there's parts like these where you have like a shape crossing another shape, so it's gonna do something like this. I completely forgot the name for that. An overlap. An overlap. That's it. Like, it doesn't look like it, but it really augments the readability of the shape, because now everything looks too bland and things like that, right? Yeah, I've been at it for like 3 hours, and okay, the first half an hour was like fixing things with the stream, but 2 hours and a half, and I have this. I actually need to, yeah, like this. I've been distracting you too. Not so much, not so much. Like, it's a good distraction, because that way I don't need to take so many breaks. Okay, so it's a bow that is held with one hand. So the logic behind here would be this hand holding the bow and this hand holding a spear. No, an arrow. An arrow, that's it. So if it's like this, it should be like this. Right? Can I? I bet I could. Something like this. Right? Yeah. Okay. So the place where he grabs it. Oh, okay. The CSP sometimes stalls a little bit because it's also recording the time lapse. So that's the thing. Lately, I haven't been posting time lapses. I don't know. Like it gives me no extra work because CSP does it automatically. But I don't know if people are that interested in seeing the time lapse. I feel like people, at least non-artists, consume the images really quickly. So I don't know if they care too much about the making. It depends. If it's Control Z, it will ignore it, but if it's erased, it will keep. So it might actually keep things that I did, which is really funny. Yeah. Hey man, it's proof. It's proof that there was a stream, there was communication and collaboration. It works. It's the artistic process, you know? It is what it is. Besides, I usually do 30 seconds 30 seconds time lapse, and like we're already at 2.5 hours, and I'm still nowhere near finished with the detailed sketch, right? So if this piece, for instance, hits 5 hours, it's gonna be almost impossible to see everything that we talked about. Yeah. I'm still thinking about like the images that you sent. Like that's really, really good improvement. Really good. I'm gonna be a bit lazy here. It's a small bow. So it should be something like this. Let's erase this so I can... Oh! Oh! No way! I was drawing it in the wrong layer. Damn! Alright. I was drawing it in the wrong layer. Good. Good. You've seen it here live. Ugh. What a day to be alive. What a terrible day to have eyes. Right layer. Good. Here I go again. Yeah. If it was in the painting phase, it would have been okay. But it isn't. So if I need to erase something which I did have to erase things. It's not so good. Right, this is a very complicated shape right here. I feel like it's something like this. Right, that. Have you ever done archery? No, actually. I think they would be a really cool experience to have, but I've never done it. I've seen a few videos about it, like different types of archery, like traditional Japanese, Olympic, medieval. I've only done it once. Hey, if you don't tell anyone that it's a fluke, right? It was all planned, right? All planned. All planned, all planned. It is premeditated. 500 IQ. You calculated wind resistance, and you you've done it. I've seen some pretty crazy things about archery, like especially about the traditional Japanese one. I think they're trained to not look at the target. It's ridiculous. I've seen demonstration of like being in a room. I can't really explain it, but they have this weird philosophy about archery. So the way they train is like they have the target in front of them and they're supposed to hit it, but I've seen demonstrations where he's in a room, they turn off the lights and they still hit the target, right? So that they don't focus on looking at the target. They focus on themselves, right? It's so weird. Oh, it's really, really impressive. To recurve archery. Recurve. I 've 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 'ave 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 ' Speaker? I don't... A normal bow. Instead of compound bow with mechanic. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Like the mechanisms of the contemporary bows are insane. Like stabilizers and the fake thingy that they put on their hands, so they don't have to release the string. I don't know the name of it, right? I bet one of those bows costs like a house. Oh man, the bow is smaller than I originally thought. So how am I going to work with this? I am going to cheat. But I'm going to fix it later. It's a fix that doesn't require me to redraw everything. I forgot now. I saw this like a couple of days ago. It was in a different context, but it was what was the name? It's like Fake Trigger or something. They have those thingies in their hand and it has like a random timer. So there's no tensing up when they release the string. Like, that's a really clever solution, right? Because a lot of people have that that instinct of when releasing the not the trigger in this case, but when releasing the string, they either pull it a little back too much or push it, and the trigger helps a lot. Really, really cool. Okay, there's a heart shape. Ooh, actually, I didn't even realize this. I need to fix this part. God damn it, this design is intricate. Like this. Reaction versus reflex. Yeah. It is absolute insanity, especially in the high performance sports, Olympic Games and things like that. They are really, really incredible people. Like, there are certain sports that you can see clearly the amount of hours that people have put into them. One of them that I actually watch rather frequently nowadays is snooker. Like, the top players are incredible, you know, and it's not much about physical strength or stamina. They just understand it, right? At that point, their head is like a supercomputer just calculating collisions and things like that. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Feeling this pattern. The cool variant with no pockets. Is it the one that has like a red ball, a yellow ball, and a white ball? I think it has a white ball, right? That is about collisions, really. Like you're supposed to hit the balls in a certain way. Like I've never seen that variant live, but I've seen it in videos and things like that. The heart there. 3 cushion. Oof. That would not be for me. I have difficulties just making it once. I can imagine. Like with 3 bounces, the room for miscalculations is so big. And you know, some people play it like it's nothing. Truly incredible. In Korea, really? Like, it's really, really weird how some of the angles are calculated, because in ideal conditions the angles would be reflected, but they aren't. Clubs full of carom tables. Wow, that is really cool. Yeah, just here we have like some dedicated cafes that have a lot of pool tables, but not those. Not those. I mean, arguably, playing the games of carom tables are harder, at least in my opinion. I feel like it's harder because, like, in normal pool you might have like one bounce. Yeah. But with carom, it's like, or at least with 3 cushion, there's like 3 bounces, bro. Not for me. What is this bow? Really, like... The mannerism era called. It wants its bow back. Jesus. Yeah, the design is ridiculous. And a thing that I just realized now about the design is that it has this petal here, and the string will connect to that petal. It will not connect to anything solid on the bow. It will connect to the pedal. Incredible. So right player this time, and now. Oh wait, no, 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 no. Invert selected area, and now we can work it out. Hello? What happened? Alright, I'm gonna stop playing. Trying stuff. Trying to be a smartass. I am going to do it properly. There we go. Let's see. I might have to move everything a little bit to the left. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Oop, gotta first. It feels a little bit more dynamic since it's not fully centered. Yeah, imagine having to draw the bow and then the bow just disappearing. Great stuff. Just fantastic. Now let's think. I'm gonna have to draw a hand on top of this. Let's use blue. So so you do something like this, right? Another thing that I love about what I recently figured out about drawing hands is that the incomplete this is too big. The incomplete lines actually help a lot when sketching, because your brain auto-completes the information. So the hand looks fully drawn and like there's so much missing in this hand, right? Something like this. I'm not gonna invest too much on the design of the arrow. It is looking pretty decent, and I don't even mind that it's all different colors. Gonna do like this. Yeah, looking pretty good. What am I missing? Oh, the braids. That's like the only thing. All right, I'm gonna quickly search for braids. Let's go into Pinterest real quick. Normal braid. The minimal amount of technique needed to capture something's likeness. Yeah, that is very important. Like practicing things like that allow you to understand more about your own subject. It's really interesting. So if I look at my reference here. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Looking at my reference. This has so many colors. It is ridiculous. Thank God I'm gonna do cell shading. Jesus. Alright. Sure. Alright. My friend drew it really well. Oh no, wait. I have a friend who is really good at sketching, and our other friend asked us to draw the rock. My friend drew it really well and captured his likeness with minimal light work, just using red graphite, no shading. I tried and I was trying to draw every wrinkle. Yeah. It's like, it's weird because you see very little drawn, but it requires a lot of practice. Like, the proportions of the face immediately tell you, for instance, if it's a more female face, if it's a more male face, and then it has subsets, right? Like if it's a more squarish jaw, if it's a more rounded cranium, things like that. And you don't even need to do that much. So I remember this one thing. I think someone asked Picasso if he could draw a woman using, I think it was 2 lines, right? I'm gonna search it because I cannot copy what he did. I don't remember exactly the image. I don't think I can find it. Oh, I found it. I found it. All right. He drew a woman using 2 lines, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, it's gonna be like a bunch of overlaps and things like that." It's actually a very important lesson. He did this, right? So, what does it mean? Obviously, there are men out there that could have structures like these, but I'm actually gonna bring the image back again because it's important. This is very important. First of all, men's buttocks are. So if we think of the muscles as butterflies in the buttocks, men's are like this, while women's are more like this, right? And the muscle here also indicates the great trochanter from the femur, right? And because women's hips are larger, they also have another bump here, while men don't have such a big bump. So it's not just random lines. He has the fat of the waist, the hip, the great trochanter, and rounded buttocks with 2 lines. That is something, honestly. People can say whatever they want about Picasso. I know that he wasn't a great person, but when he came to theory, he knew about things. But I feel like he was bored of it, and so he explored beyond the conventional theory. That's what a lot of artists do anyway. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Like, right? Yeah. And the thing is, like, Picasso's art is weird, right? But the events that led him to make art like that happen to every single artist. The only difference is how or what our art ends up being, right? And of course, in the fine art circle, if you have the right people hyping your own work, certain schools of thought tend to be more proliferated in history. This one is behind the bow, so if I do this, I'm going to delete the detail of the bow. I'm going to add another layer here. For instance, a thing that I like a lot, a school of art that I like a lot, is Impressionism. About what qualifies as art. That is one of the hardest questions that you could possibly ask. Everybody's gonna dance in that line, because nobody can actually answer specifically what qualifies as art, right? Because it depends on the definition itself, and like, I don't know if you've studied art history. Have you? Well, details is pretty much done. Not since high school, and I don't remember much of it. Okay. But I'm sure if you think about it now, you realize that a lot of weird art movements happened because artists kept asking themselves, is this still art? They kept pushing the definition of it, right? And so you ended up with things like minimalism. Like, how little can we do for it to still be considered art? And people might say minimalism, people might say, what else? Conceptualism, right? Where it deranges everything. It just starts thinking about the concept of objects instead of creating objects. Dadaism, or not Dadaism, but ready-made, right? You literally pick everyday objects and just put them in the museum, right? Those movements appeared because people didn't know what art was, and so the door was open for everything to be art with the right context. So that is a very complicated question, right? And I feel artists have a personal journey to not necessarily figure out what art is, but what is their art, right? And it's a journey that never stops, because our personal art changes. We are subjects to change over time. Yeah. Just like a lot of people say, I don't appreciate art because it contributes nothing to society, it doesn't have a function. But it's like, art can have a function, but it does not require a function to exist. Right? It is something really weird. I want to do the pattern in the shoes, but it's really complicated. I think I'm gonna leave it simple. I think I'm gonna leave it simple. Just checking the gloves to see if I missed any patterns. I don't think so. No. Anything else? I really hope I got everything right, because next up comes the line art, and if I missed anything, it's gonna be a mess. I posit art should have some sort of message and attempt to convey it, no matter how badly it does that job or how naive / insignificant the message is. I think well, it doesn't need, if you don't think, if you think about a message as just communicating, I think you're correct. Yes. Like, it doesn't need to be anything profound, right? But I do think that artists always try to communicate with what they do, right? So it doesn't, the person that is viewing your work doesn't even need to get your message. The message that they might get is something completely different. I think art just needs to provoke this communication, right? We create something with an intention, and then we have a reaction from the viewer. That's all it needs. And with that, with that very broad definition, like everything can be accepted. Obviously, it really depends on the context. For instance, I don't know if it was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the banana duct taped to a wall. That was only considered art because of a specific context, right? And most people overreact to it because they project themselves. A blank canvas conveys anything. Actually, that is a good question. There has been an episode of canvas being blank on an exhibition. So an artist was paid to paint 2 paintings, right? To make 2 paintings. And I think it was given, I don't know if it was $20,000 or something. And he left the canvas blank. Both of them. And he called the piece "Take the Money and Run." And this is actually a real thing. The artist left the canvas blank. So even a blank canvas can transmit an idea. Right? It's not outside of the realm of possibility. Obviously, this is more of like an exercise in how stretchy art as a concept is. It's not a regular thing, and I hope that people internalize that. But those things sometimes happen, right? I think it's in the very nature of people who stretch the concept of art. But yeah, it is really fascinating. But overall, we just stick with inspired by nature, right? Like, obviously we are capable of creating things that don't exist, but usually they are inspired by nature or inspired by artists that were inspired by nature. So that's like the general bulk of the art world. Yeah. Yeah. It's like how I said a bit before. Like, if you're not copying nature directly, if you're getting inspired by other artists, you are mutating that artist's work so that it becomes yours, but you are still keeping a direct line towards nature, right? And it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Well, today was a productive day. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours now. I am really not used to stream. I mean, I'm not used to stream. Last time I streamed consistently was like 9 months ago, so it's good to be back. Yeah. I don't have an ending screen, so it's gonna end really abruptly. But yeah, thank you for showing up today. I really, really enjoyed the conversation. And some questions about art from nature. So yeah, I'll be here to answer my opinions, because I don't have any objective answers for those types of questions. And so when it was 8 p.m. for you, it was 11 a.m. for me. So yeah, I usually start at around 6 p.m. for you. Around that time. So 9 a.m. for me. Yeah, tomorrow I'll stream some more and we'll talk some more, okay? So, once again, thank you so much for... Okay. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by.